So listen, if any of you guys are thinking about doing your own podcast, man, I highly recommend you use Anchor. Anchor.fm. It's free. You know what I mean? It's got all the tools and stuff you need to make your stuff sound spiffy. You know what I mean? It's seamless. It's user friendly. You can record it from your phone. You record it from your computer. You know what I'm saying? If you wanted to be on Spotify or Apple Podcast or anything like that, it'll do it for you. You know, you can make some money. You know what I mean? Doing a sponsorship ad and just like something like this. And it's also free. So if you're interested in it, man, you can download the free Anchor app or you can go to anchor.fm. Good luck. All right, folks. We're back in the lab. We're back in the studio. Captain's Log Podcast, episode 22. I have my two good buddies in here with me, Mrs. Denise Young. How you doing?
Good. Hello.
Mrs. Kimberly Harris.
Hey, everyone.
And today we're going to be talking school shit. Schools, teachers, vice principals, detention, PE, guidance, all that. So, Kim, you're a teacher.
Yep.
Denise, you're a vice principal.
Mm-hmm.
So we're going to get into the nitty gritty. But first of all, how you doing?
I'm good.
What's going on in your life right now?
Just trying to be an assistant principal and a work at home mom or a home teacher or whatever I'm trying to be.
I think we're all teachers now.
Yeah.
Okay, we can call it that.
Yeah.
I'm about the same. I think everybody is trying to find balance now because even for the people who work from home before, they didn't work from home with their kids.
Mm-hmm.
So we're in a whole nother ball game now because we're doing it all at the same time.
I'm absolutely hating working from home. I just want to throw that out there. For those who are going to work every day, like, oh man, I wish I was home. Listen, the shit is not it's not as sweet as you think it is. Being home with kids.
If I could be honest, I could stay at home for the rest of the year. I'm like actually hoping I can.
Well, they told me I was staying home until it was a vaccine. So,
Right.
I mean, you know, we can switch. You know, I wouldn't mind going in at least once or twice a week.
I can definitely do staying home.
Yeah.
Really?
Any
I mean, maybe it's our job.
Is that bad?
I don't know.
Well, you know, I
It's
don't.
not about being bad, and I guess we'll get into that part, but it's not about being bad. It's just convenient right now. I'm not even going to lie. Like,
Yeah.
there's some struggles, but it's convenient.
And for me, I had a at least 45 minutes to an hour commute. Don't have to do that except like once or twice a week. Just wear whatever, especially like sweatpants, yoga pants. Just got to make sure that my shirt looks decent most days. I can do this.
Yeah, but I miss my train rides, man. Like this is what became of my train rides to work. So it's not sometimes it's hard to maintain, you know what I mean, where
Yeah.
I'm at, where I gotta walk around in circles in the garage on the front of the house. I know my neighbors looking at me like he's at it again. You know what I'm saying?
I definitely had interesting stories like every day when I went to work. And
Yeah,
now, I
yeah.
mean, I got to like pop into a classroom, just say hey to some like icons on the screen. Some kids will turn it on, but I don't have nearly enough no excitement at all, but I'm okay with that for right now because
Yeah.
I've had enough.
I mean, I can say with the train though, I used to commute at one point in time. I love commuting. I hate being on other people's time, but I love commuting because I hate driving.
I was gonna say, was it commuting because you weren't actually driving?
Yes, I
See?
hate driving.
So then you have that time.
At the point where I went to school in Baltimore, I loved getting on the train, doing whatever I want while the train is taking me where I want to go, and then I just walk to school and call it a day. Versus now I'm sitting in traffic, like, and it's not even real traffic because I work nowhere from where I live, but it's just people getting into the parking lot, like just congestion.
Maybe you're just leaving out a little late. I don't know.
Okay, maybe I am.
I already say I just know for me when I leave out about 15, 20 minutes early, I don't have a care in the world. I'm that guy in the left lane going slow. You know what I'm saying? I'm like, oh, excuse me, my bad. I mean, I'm not in a rush. I'm sorry. You know what I mean?
I'm that person always like, if I could just telepathically get there, if I could turn back time. Now, if I actually have to be somewhere, I'm like, using the Google Meet on my phone, just turn off the camera because I didn't like set up yet. I'm always late.
Okay.
But then on the other hand, I will say when I worked further away, when I worked in Baltimore, I would take my daughter to daycare and get to work an hour early just in case something happened. And I loved that time. I could make copies. I could do whatever I had to do. Versus now it's like, it's only 7 minutes away. I mean, it shouldn't take that long.
That's how it started in the beginning. You want to make that good impression.
Yeah.
Once you're a veteran, you're like, I get here when I get here. You know what I mean? But anyway, so let's take it. Let's go in the time machine. So let's go back to when we was in school. So where'd y'all go to school at, or what area? Or I don't want to say what elementary, what high school did y'all go to?
Well, I have to name all of mine because.
Oh
okay.
God.
No. Okay. So I've been in Prince George's County for my entire life. Would love to get away at some point in time, but I mean, it's just what it is. But I went to Parkdale High School for high school. I went to Kenmore Middle School for middle school. I went to Dodge Park Elementary and Heather Hills Elementary for elementary school, and loved every minute of it. Except for the fact that I did want to go to my neighborhood schools my whole life, and my mom always yanked me up and shut it
real
down.
proud right now. real proud of them schools. What about you, Denise?
All right. So since she went backwards, I'll go backwards. I went to Central High School, Central High, Falcon Love, Andrew Jackson Middle School, Heather Hills Middle School, and then before that, I went to John Bain Elementary, Heather Hills Elementary, John Bain Elementary. And then I went to elementary school in Charles County for the first couple of years. So that was like a definite transition.
How was that?
To PG. I mean, it took me a while to learn like the slang and people fighting and stuff like that. And then I transferred to Heather Hills, and I was like, nobody fights here.
It'd be like that.
But then I was the one. I mean, thankfully, I wasn't there when you were.
You was a fighter. You was a hard head in school. You was the fighter.
Absolutely. I didn't get my act together until 10th or 11th grade is when I decided, I might as well do right. Like,
wow, I wouldn't have seen that coming. Well, anyway, I went to Pay Branch High School, Montgomery County. The old MoCo, not this new bullshit they got out now. That the new they want to be DC or whatever the worst part.
That wasn't the case when you were.
No. When I went to school in Montgomery County, it was diverse. It was 30-something% black, 30-something% white, and everybody else just got in where they fit in. And everybody, we held hands and sang kumbaya and swung in harmony.
Maybe you guys did that in school, and then they got out of school and thought that they were going to pretend like they were something.
So you knew something else for Montgomery County? I always thought they were pretty good.
Well, where I was at, I was on the cusp of Laurel, because Burtonsville is right by Laurel. It's right by PG County. It's right by Howard County.
I mean, it's a part of all.
And it's right by PG. It's right by all. Well, no, it's not. No, it's not.
Laurel
is
Laurel
Howard
is
County,
PG County.
PG County, and Anne Arundel.
Right.
It doesn't have a Montgomery County.
Yeah, Burtonsville is Montgomery.
Okay.
So middle school, I went to Banneker Middle School right down the street. And then right down the street, I went to Burtonsville Elementary. And then down the road, down Highsville, I went to Adelphi Elementary. So I was in PG County first, but that shit was terrible. My principal threatened to beat me. So we were living out there right off of Adelphi and all that, man. Spanish Harlem. All red brick buildings, Hispanic people. And my mom, she used to work all the way out VA. She used to work at American Truck Association. She was in the mailroom. And she's busting her ass, to get that money together. And then she's like, yeah, we're moving to Montgomery County. But she was like, but don't say nothing. So I'm in class, like, I was like, it ain't really looking too good for me in here. You know what I'm saying? I was like, maybe I need to go ahead out to, a new area to get a fresh slate. So I was like, hey, I'm moving. You know what I'm saying? They sent my ass on that day. And then the next week, I had to register for the new school. So, of course, Mom was pissed. And I understood why she did it. She did that because, my sister wasn't born yet. So it was just me. So here I am, 7 years old, having to get on the bus by myself, get off the bus in an area I don't know, go in the house, stay in the house until, 7 or 8 o'clock at night every day. So she didn't want to leave me home, but it's like, it is what it is. Well, you fucked up, so this is what we doing now. So I adjusted, you know what I'm saying? I loved it, man. I loved going to school out there. I take the worst thing about living out there is being poor in Montgomery County. It's not a good look. Unless you live in Gaithersburg somewhere where I guess that's where the poor people are, but to live in, Silver Spring, Burtonsville, Wheaton, all that area and be poor, it's not a good look because everybody out there, has money. So but over time, man, I loved it. I loved going to school out there. But
that's a different experience. When we moved to PG County from Charles County, everybody was like, I got free lunch.
It was the opposite.
And they were like, you gotta pay something? Like it was like bad.
Look, I was free lunch until graduation day. I had free lunch for so long. Like once I got to like 11th or 12th grade, I used to sell that shit. I'd be like, nigga, just give me $2.
But
go,
I think that's the
go get them the
difference,
full
too.
tray.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And then I would go get an ice cream sandwich and a soda to be good to go for the day. Like
It's always different when you are the one in a sea of everybody else doing everything else. But definitely in PG County, everywhere else I've been.
Well, it was only a few. I won't say. I don't know. I don't know the
Maybe
percentage.
You just don't know who they were.
I don't know the percentage, but I felt like it wasn't that many of us that was on the free lunch. Like I listen. We were so poor that my 5th grade graduation, my principal bought me my graduation outfit. I remember to this day. He bought me a white button up, some green pants, and some brown Clyde hoppers. Was like
he even bought you shoes.
He's like, son, if you're gonna graduate, you got to go out here looking fresh.
Nice.
And then crazy as my white boy man, shout out to Kyle Lizzie. He graduated. He had a white tee, a little chain on, some cargo shorts, and some damn Adidas, and graduated. So I was like, well, I could have just wore my regular shit. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But I know definitely going to school, man. Like PG, like even just having any type of association with PG County was like you was king. Like we may have had that one dude who transferred from whatever high school to out there, and it's like he came to the school, niggas be like, hey, you don't want to fuck with Holmes, man. He from Bladensburg somewhere, man. You know what I'm saying? So it's like they always just had that thing, especially the women too. Like if you was from Montgomery County and you had your little boo boo that was from Lower High School, you was the man.
But the thing in PG was like, oh, if you from DC or you know somebody from DC,
exactly
well,
that
DC
was
too.
the
DC
thing.
too.
Like everybody was trying to be DC.
Absolutely.
Listen, if you got transferred to our school from DC, something was wrong with you. Like we wasn't even looking at the fact that maybe your family just kind of just moved you to a better area. We look at it like he must have been in jail or something. Because we always thought, well, every school, they got to take at least 1 or 2 problem kids. You know what I'm saying?
I was gonna say, that was the thing then, though. If you got put out of all Maryland schools, you had to go somewhere, so you're going to go to D.C. If you get put out of all D.C. schools,
you got to
go
come to Maryland.
somewhere.
That's what we thought. We thought, like, damn, maybe he just got put out.
We knew people who was using somebody's address to go to a
Yeah,
Maryland school.
and that was always the case. That was always the
DC.
case. I knew a few dudes, man. We had one guy, man. He came to the school. I'm not going to use his name. He came to the school and, he had a car. This nigga had this old busted box Crown Vic. We was like, oh, you can't be bringing that shit out here. we had niggas at the school. If he had a Caprice, that joint was painted up, sitting on 20s. He had the joint sitting on hubcaps and smoking and all that. We was like, man. And the principals, they was on his ass. He didn't even do nothing wrong. He's like, I'm not from around here. He's always says like, I'm not from around here. I don't know how I'm supposed to act. You know what I'm saying? But it was always that gray area. You know what I'm saying, between counties. But school was school. So let's talk about the teaching shit, man. So at what point in you guys' middle school, high school lives that you said, maybe I'll go to college and be a teacher?
I always said, if I went to college and I was always going to go to college, I was going to be like a doctor or a lawyer because a lot of people in my family didn't go to college. And so I just wasn't going to waste their money. And so I always thought I had to be a doctor. And one time in biology class in high school, it was like a young teacher fresh out of college. And she was actually like so honest with us, like, yeah, I just taught myself this stuff last night and like presenting it to us. And I was thinking like, I can do this.
I had young teachers?
Yeah, like fresh out of college, 22, 23. And I was thinking like
200 years old, all of them.
Yeah.
I was thinking I could do her job. And maybe that just like stuck in the back of my head. And then went through college, didn't become a doctor. And like my plan B was, all right, let me just do this teaching for like a year, which turned into a career.
So you went there and you had your major set up.
It was biology,
And
then it was pre-dental.
Then you just made a left turn and
then
said
it was
this.
like a minor in education, which became the plan.
Hey, whatever works. Kim?
Okay, so like Denise, very similar story. So, before high school, I hated school anyway. Like I was one of those kids who were like, I need a break. I can't go to school for a full week. Like that was just not in my mind. I'm just like, who does that? Go to school every day?
How is that an option?
Yeah, it was a long story.
These choices.
So, in middle school, and I did have a lot of choices, ask anybody. So in middle school, we had this science teacher who would just be like, well, if you get in trouble, as long as you write me a letter saying why you did this, then I won't tell your parent.
Oh, wow.
I was writing letters galore.
Oh, my God. Are you serious?
Yeah, so he'd be like, well, I mean, you did mess up, but you did write the letter, so I guess I can't do anything.
Jesus. PG County, tighten the fuck up.
That's the PG County education
that shit
right
terrible.
there.
I'm telling you, it was to the point I got put out of one of my science classes in 8th grade. So they put me in pretty much in school suspension every day. And I was like, who does that? Who goes to school to sit in a room by themselves every day? So I would go to McDonald's on the way to school every morning. In middle school. And then catch the bus. There was one bus and get to school at second period or second mob, whatever it was. And then that was it. That was life for the rest of the 8th grade year. When I got to, and that's what I'm telling you, once I got to like 12th grade, I had AP Bio. Okay, the reason why I was taking AP Bio was we had to pick a major. I was in like the university high school program then, and it was like either you do math and science or you do reading and social studies. Hate reading, so it was math and science. AP Biology teacher, loved him. He would answer any question that we had. I was like, yeah, I'm a major in science. So went to college, University of Maryland, Eastern Shore, majored in biology. And I was like, what do I want to do? I guess I'll be a nurse or something. They were like, yeah, you're not taking any of the courses that you are supposed to take to be a nurse. So I was like, I guess I'll go to grad school then until I figure it out. Hated grad school. So then I was like, I guess I'll be a teacher now. And everybody was like, no one's going to take you serious. Try again. Like, pick another career. Like, everybody.
They said that?
Yeah.
Damn, that's the cold, hard facts.
I mean, come on. Nikki, Brianna, they're like, come on.
Listen,
Kim.
you know what's great? You know what they should be saying to teachers? They should be telling teachers, thank you for your service. The same way as they tell me as a veteran, they should say that to teachers. Like, it's like that unsung hero type shit. You know what I'm saying? Like even police, even though they kind of got a bad rap right now, they still the fucking police. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? Like, really have to kind of pay homage to that shit. But let me tell you this, though. Let me tell you how I knew I wasn't going to school. So my issue was I wasn't stupid. I just felt like I wasn't checked on. Like I said, my mom was always working. Like, I get my work ethic from my mother. Like, she just like, what you need? Well, you're not getting that, but I'm going to get you something. I'm going to go bust my ass to do it. Oh, you want Jordans? We going to get you these Air whatever the fucks.
No.
But I'm going to bust my ass to do it. Like,
yeah.
it was always the effort that counted. So, for me, I went to school, you know what I'm saying? Like, never had my homework checked. You know, report card, that's mine. Or even if she got it, I was to a point where it didn't matter what she thought. Because I'm like, well, it's not like you're helping me. So it is what it is, you know. And, you know, we had things going on in the house. So it's like I never stayed in the house. You know, Dad wasn't there. So I always was looking for someone to be like a father figure to me. So I never wanted to be home. Mm-hmm. So I wasn't doing my work like that. But it was one class that I was good at. French.
Oh, I hated French.
Oh, wow.
I was a dog. I was a dog in French. When I got to 12th grade, I was in French 3 honors. Like, top of the class. Like, they were going to plan a trip, take us to France, pay for this shit and all that. And I went to her and I said, I'm dropping the class. And she said, why? I was like, well, I'm dropping it so I can get a 2nd study hall. She looked at me and she's like, 'Cause you don't know how to read. I said, well, I don't know how to read. She said, well, I'm dropping it so I can get a second study hall. She looked at me and she's like, 'Cause you don't know how to read. I said, well, I'm dropping it so I can get a second study hall. She looked at me and she's like, She's like, you're the best person in my class. You're gonna drop it for a stutter. She said, why? I was like, well, I mean, I'm about to graduate, so I'm just trying to chill. That's what I told her.
So not even you didn't
like
feel like
I didn't even I didn't feel like I owed her an explanation, because even though she was the only teacher that probably ever challenged me, I just felt like it wasn't enough. It wasn't enough on a daily basis. It was just one class, and it's like I would go in that joint. I was speaking damn near fluent French, and I was like, I'm done. She was pissed. It looked like she was about to cry.
You couldn't have like a work release or anything at that point?
I tried to do that. So one of my best friend in Georgia, shout out to Brandon, he went to this thing. We had this thing called Edison, where you do half a day. If your grades are right, do half a day. You can go and do like some type of skill. So he went for mechanics. So, you know what I'm saying? I was always with him. I was always with his family. And, I looked at them as they were my parents. And they was on his ass. Like, look, if you're going to do something, go do it. So this is what he wanted to do. And he was like, man, you should come with me. And I was like, well, I ain't got shit else to do. So me not knowing anything, and, I wasn't even really savvy at all, not even until a couple of years ago. And I said, well, I'm going to go with you. But I didn't have the grades. So, boom, he gone. And I'm just, and as soon as he left me, because, from 9th to, I think, 11th grade, we was always together. But once he left for that half a day in 11th grade, it was all downhill for me. So at this point, I'm smoking weed. I'm drinking 40s. You know what I'm saying? I'm trying to pull up on something. I'm trying to hit the party. That was all that was important to me at that point.
I think that's the downside about those programs like mechanical, technical, whatever. You have to have a certain GPA, and the people who need it might not meet that requirement.
But I know people like that, dumb as hell, but they can break some shit down, put it back.
And then they don't even have that opportunity to have that career going.
I was about to say the CTE programs in PG, I'm always like, you can definitely be an automotive mechanic. I see what you do. I see you all the time talking to students, and they're like, yeah, but how do I do it? And then, like you said, they don't take you until 11th grade year. So by then, you've had 2 years to do nothing, no motivation, and then
10th grade was hard for me. What was y'all hardest year in high school? 10th grade was the worst for me. Like, I felt like I was going to drop out or some shit in 10th grade. That's when shit really hit the fan. That's when it was like, this is not middle school. 9th grade was kind of like a breeze. 10th grade is like, you're in high school now.
So I'll be honest, I didn't have a hard year in school ever.
I don't feel like I had a hard year in high school.
With me, it was just, like you said, motivation. There was a lot of things going on in my house, and I just didn't want to be home. I didn't get checked. My mom would never be like, oh, you failed this class. What are you going to do? Like, she never cared. I'm not going to lie. I mean, she cared, but I guess she let me explore a little bit more. I don't know how else to say it. But I didn't. So when I chose to do something, it's because I chose to do it. If I chose to be good in Spanish, I chose to be good in it. I was like you with Spanish, of course, not French. I started off at Spanish 3 in 9th grade, and I was the only one of 2 freshmen in my class. But I kept stuck with it, and I'm still using it to this day, of course.
Well, disclaimer, the only reason I was in French because Spanish filled up ASAP.
Of course.
It was like, well, that's French. They was like, it's either Arabic or French. I was like, Arabic?
Okay.
I was like, what the fuck y'all trying to do to me?
No, we have Arabic. We have Arabic at our school.
It was something that I probably would never use. Too.
We had German.
I know it was Latin. It was Latin. I was like,
nah.
I was like, I'm gonna take the French. I fooled with the French. I was
B.
I was all on it.
Only class that I failed in high school.
How you fail French? It's so easy.
Okay, it's because I at Heather Hills took Spanish.
Yeah.
So then I was ahead of the kids at Andrew Jackson because they had no foreign language, and so then I took all the classes that I could take, and so they were like, all right, you might as well switch over to French. And then I kept on getting the stuff.
You might as well. You don't just might as well switch languages.
I know. So it really messed me up because I kept on having the Spanish words in my head and couldn't get it out when it was time to do French.
There's absolutely no correlation to it. They completely opposite.
They're so related.
So there are some Italian,
not
Spanish,
enough.
and French. But there isn't. Once you get into it, there are some commonalities, but there's a lot that's
a lot of it is really similar. So it just confused me, and maybe that's not even how my brain worked anyway. I'm more of like a math science person, so the languages were just tough. But I didn't really have a tough year in high school.
Yeah, a lot of support.
Well, I had moms as a single parent, working a lot, and she wasn't like checking my work, but like if I wasn't doing what I was supposed to do, like I would get in trouble. So it's like I better do what I'm supposed to do.
She wasn't there, but she still was checking to make sure. But see, that's what I'm saying. That's like I would literally come in class, and my science teacher would be like, "Where's your stuff?" And it'd be like 2 pieces of paper. Like, you came in here with an empty book bag. My mom would be like, "Where you bother?" No, I was like, "That should be heavy, Mom. Leave me alone."
Nah, like I thought I would be getting over on her, and then she would turn on me.
I
like,
wish
everything would be.
I
like,
really listen. Because shortly after that, a week after I left for the Marines, and I was like, well, I guess they straightened me out. Like, I really wish to this day, like, because I had groups of friends. Like, I had my main men, and then they were split. I had the guys who pretty much knew they was going to college because their parents was on their ass. And I had the guys, and we were just kind of figuring it out as it went. And everybody is successful on both sides, but them niggas here, I'm like, God, if I could have just hung with y'all maybe 1 or 2 times more, man, maybe that shit would have rubbed off on me. You know what I mean? But it is what it is. I don't regret anything. I'm doing pretty good. So
I ran track in high school. That definitely got me through. Shout out to the track babe. Boop, boop.
Look, that's why you're running now. That's
true.
Yeah,
Can't
shout
get it
out to the
system.
10-piece you ran. Okay, so look, y'all in college, and you getting ready to graduate, and you say I'm going to be a teacher. So, in your mind, like, what was your expectations? You know what I mean? Once you say you get hired, you go to your school, you come in the classroom, and like, what's going through your mind? Like, what are you expecting to happen?
I don't know what I was expecting to happen, but it definitely was a shocker. Like, you're all of a sudden an adult, like, and you're expected to do everything that other people who've been teaching 30 years are doing. I can remember, okay, turn this paper in, and then I'm like, oh, where am I going to put these papers? Like, you're learning as you're going along. Like, I didn't even have a turn-in bin. Or the first couple of months, I would be running in between my classes making copies. I didn't even make enough for the whole class, like all my classes for the day. Stupid stuff like that.
I actually remember stuff like that happening while we was in school. I see the teachers like, I'm just gonna run out real quick. Class, just
that was me.
They had the little, what is the old school little magnifier joint went on.
Overhead projector.
Overhead projector. They be like, class, just watch this real quick. I'll be right back. Mother walk out the class shaking his head. I was like, oh, I was like, that's some shit he's supposed to do before we got here. Yeah.
I've done that several.
Yeah.
But like, why didn't you just make enough? I don't know.
Yeah. It's almost like, damn, it's okay to just have some extra shit. Yes. You know what I'm saying? I mean, I figure you gotta have it for the next class, right?
Yeah.
Unless you like planned right up until the moment and you only had time to make 30 copies and then you had to go.
Yeah.
And that was me a lot also. Like,
so what was your vision?
Okay, so let's start by the fact that originally when teaching came into my mind, even in grad school, I was like, oh, I'm going to teach on the college level. Very, very different from teaching.
Oh, you wanted to go straight there.
Yeah, I wanted to, because I was like, oh, you just talk. Mm-hmm. They take notes. They come back. They take a test.
More so lectures, yeah.
Yes, there's nothing to do. Readjusting to teaching, like, anywhere in grade school is very, very different. Oh, they have to practice what you're telling them to do.
Tests and shit.
Okay, you have to grade all of the work that they do. You have to have classwork every day. Like, and then the other part of it, so I went through a alternative teaching certification program, and they have you teach at a summer school as practice. And they're like, oh, yeah, you should greet every student when they come in, have them line up outside of the door. Like, they have all of these strategies that you're supposed to use.
Handshake.
Yes. But in practice, it doesn't work. Number one, they're coming right from the teacher across the hall. So it's like, Yeah, we just get in the classroom. We can't have all these kids out in the hallway. And then I taught middle school, but it was run like an elementary school, so we had to walk them to the bathroom.
Oh, wow.
Walk them back from
Middle school?
Yes, they still had recess. We had to walk them
Whoa,
down.
whoa,
My
whoa,
middle
whoa!
school
Hey,
still has
ain't
recess,
nothing
the
wrong.
one
Hey,
that I work at.
recess was king in middle
Yes,
school.
recess was great. I would go out there with the kids. And my first year, I was pregnant. It was the worst.
Ooh.
And I was teaching in Baltimore City. Love my babies to death, but I had some crazy, crazy kids in that class. This one boy never was on medication, and he would the very first day that he was off, ran out of the class, squirted hand sanitizer all over my computer, ran out of the classroom and ran home. And I was just like, what just happened? And the kids were like, oh, that was just such and such. Don't worry about him. And I'm just like,
We're just gonna excuse shit like this?
really? This is what we're doing? And then when I went to the principal and vice principal, their thing was like, let's give him some computer time because that usually calms him. Yeah, that's great until he starts putting pornos on in the back of the classroom and all the other kids are wondering why they're sitting in their seats. Yeah, it was crazy.
Oh, hell no. That's crazy.
I can remember my second year was the worst year. That I would pray that these two kids were suspended so they wouldn't have to be in my class. And one would be breaking the chair. One would come to school with it looked like grapes under his nose. And I'm like, oh, what happened? And he was like, oh, I fell skateboarding. No, he was huffing. I don't know what he was sniffing.
Some duster or some shit?
Yeah, that was burning his
What
nose.
county is this?
I won't say. But I didn't even know people who did that type of stuff. So
I thought that was some white people shit. But I mean,
it was a white boy.
Oh shit. Well, yeah, y'all know. You know what it is.
So that's what I mean. So they just throw you in the classroom, and like Denise, you still have to do all this stuff, but then you're still dealing with stuff you never knew you would expect going into the classroom. This is what people do at this age?
So I think it's safe to say that, you know what I'm saying, you thought it was going to be one thing and then it was the other. I think that's just pretty much with everything in life. You think shit's going to be sweet and you get in there and you turn out to be some bullshit. And then you just adjust to it.
And you adjust to it.
Yep. That's exactly what happens.
And you get better at it.
Damn, so my thing is this. I know I got a buddy of mine. He's a principal. He's a principal Kimball Elementary. I don't know if he's still there. Shout out to Johan. And I'm doing pretty good, but I was always told that teachers make more money in different areas. I was told DC paid the most money. Is that true?
So for my people who are in DC, they definitely pay a lot. I'm just gonna throw that out there. I mean, 90,000 in the classroom is nothing, and there's so many ways to get bonuses. I know people who are like, "Oh yeah, I got this bonus this year." Da 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 da. So they're at over 100,000 in the classroom, no special.
This is just as your baseline teacher.
Well, yeah, baseline teacher, maybe a master's degree, maybe, but pretty much baseline teacher. You get a couple years under your belt, and you just start getting bonuses.
So why
Baltimore City also pays more than Prince George's County. I got to be honest, and their benefits are a little less expensive. And you can definitely guarantee a bump every year, but it's just differences.
So what? So I'm just trying. I mean, is it because you can kind of get attached to where you at, or the convenience that you may not have to drive that far from home? I mean, it's like why?
Are you saying why not work in those places?
It's like why not go where the money is?
So I heard from people, and I see some people who are very successful at it. They love what they're doing, but number one, you're working with a different type of classroom. Definitely switching from Baltimore City to PG County. When I first got there teaching 9th grade, I would just be like 3, 2, 1, and everybody's quiet. And I'm like, what the hell? I don't even know what I was going to do if y'all weren't quiet in 3 seconds. And then they're just like, oh, we got to be back in our seats now. And I'm just like, whoa, this is pretty easy. I'm not even going to lie.
Damn.
In Baltimore City, they definitely would have been like, then what?
What's going to happen after you get to one?
Depending on the class, and then you develop a rapport with them and everything else. And there are some outliers, of course, on both sides, but there's a difference that way.
I mean, I've talked to people who worked in DC, I believe, and someone said they had to buy materials like reams of paper, stuff like
Their
that.
own money?
Yeah, with their own money, and I've never had to buy any materials outside of
nah.
my pocket like that. And I've always felt like I've had support with like professional development, and felt like there was definitely people pushing me to go further, and so that's what made me stick to the county and not just chase the money.
Okay. All right, I get it.
Also sometimes with more money, it's less job security. I've definitely
Hell
talked to
yeah.
some people who are like, yeah, you could just be like, oh, they just do random observations like every other week. And then they can just be like, oh, I saw this, and then you're out. Like, especially I think at certain charter schools and stuff like that, sometimes the money doesn't always guarantee.
I didn't even think about the charter schools. Do the charter schools pay more money too?
It depends on the charter school, but
Listen, I think the whole charter schools, I just think it's all bullshit. Like, I'm a public school baby. It's like, I believe in public school. Like, that charter school, I'm not knocking charter school. I'm not knocking private school. But God damn it, I got enough bills. And you telling me I got to give you $10,000, $20,000 a year.
Yeah, charter schools.
But the private schools ain't free.
Right.
Yeah, no.
I mean, I've known people who had good experiences with charter schools, but then I've known people who had bad experiences with charter schools. They kind of do their own thing.
Mhm.
I would rather a school be regulated. Just have a certain way of doing things. You know what you're gonna get.
Yeah, and you know my son, he got into a charter school. And that shit wasn't too far when we was living in Sula.
That was the
But
uniform.
when we fucked around and when they got the uniforms, they want $25 a shirt. I'm
But Denise know all about that.
I'm like,
I mean,
I'm like, is this Hugo? I mean, is this museum? I mean, who makes this? You want 20 for just because it got a logo? I was like, I could have sold that shit on myself. So I was like, nah, we
And
good.
you sell some of the patches.
And you know what's crazy?
Oh,
I
really?
listen. I literally told them, I was like, I'm not paying $25 a shirt, and he need 8 shirts. I was like, so we're gonna take him out. I put his ass right back in public school.
I mean, I may have been scarred by the PG County public school system, so my son does go to a private school.
Ain't
for
nothing
now.
wrong. Look, if that's what Lord Trey gonna be, Are you gonna let him go to? I think you should let him go to public high school.
He's definitely gonna go to public high school.
I think that's Listen. Best kept secret. Females. When I was a young bull, whenever you had the female who was in private school her whole life,
She was
they came to
wildin'.
high school, she was always active. Just letting y'all know. She didn't know how to act with all that freedom. Always came there activated. I'm like, sweetie, chill, be at the parties. I'm like, how did she get liquor? We like 16 in here.
So I noticed a lot of people do that though, because I tried to go the private school route, but I wanted to do it only so Addie could be bumped up a grade. I was like, come on now, nobody is going to take her the year she was born. So I was like, if I got to do this, then she might as well go to public
And
school.
when's her birthday? In December?
Yeah.
I mean, you're pushing it.
I know I'm pushing it, but she was definitely ready. I still don't feel like she's caught up to. I mean, I feel like she's now catching up to where she was then. So
Like she was ready, and now she's like on the grade level as everybody else.
yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. So let's move on. So let's just talk high and low moments. All right, y'all been how long you been teaching now, Kim?
This is year 9.
9 years. Well, you're a vice principal now. Matter of fact, let's just get into that real quick. How did that jump happen? How does that work?
So I taught in the classroom for 11 years, and after a while, I mean, I was doing everything else, and like, oh yeah, and I got to teach, and it was just like just an extra thing.
That's how they get you. Oh, can you do this for me too? They get you to do the responsibilities. They don't want to pay you for it.
Right, and so I was like,
I'm in the
I
same
can do
boat.
this.
Yeah.
And by the time I was ready to be an assistant principal, I was handling all the discipline problems, and I was like, all right, assistant principal, I did this, and this. I already wrote the referral. I already called the parent. I think he should have this consequence. You just got to do the paperwork. And I was like, I'm basically doing your job. I could do this. And just moved into the role. Not moved into the role.
So did you make assistant principal in the same school? Or you had to go somewhere else?
Go somewhere else. So in my school system, you don't choose where you're going to be an assistant principal. You don't interview at different schools. They interview you, and then they place you wherever they want to place you at.
That's cool.
Yeah.
So do you think it will matter depending on who you're working under?
Yeah, I definitely do. So I was teaching for 11 years. This is my 5th year as an assistant principal.
So you're 16 or is this 11?
Yeah.
16?
Yeah.
We getting old.
Old girl. And yeah, I mean, fortunately, I've worked under some great people, but I've known people who've had bad experiences because of their supervisor. Or like if they're an assistant principal and they have like another assistant principal as a partner, and they're not really pulling their weight, or I mean, they're not like working as a team, then it's a bad experience. And I haven't had to experience that.
Okay, good.
I mean, we've always been like looking out for each other.
That's good. That's good. Listen, shout out to the vice principal. Shit, dude. I mean, so how much longer you gotta wait until you can, I don't know, I guess apply to be a principal?
I don't think I have to wait. I mean, I've only been an assistant principal at one school, and so I was thinking that I need some experience, in different places, but I don't know. I mean, it's really just when I'm ready for that extra responsibility. Like right now, I mean, the buck doesn't stop at me. I can always be like, well, I mean, I can pass you on to the principal, or if it's a night that you got to stay late, and I'm like, I really can't because my kids X, Y, and Z.
You can put it off.
I can put it off on somebody else. Where if you're the principal, you don't have nobody else. You have to do it.
So what grades is this? What grade is it?
6, 7, 8.
Oh, so you're middle school.
Mm-hmm.
So you ever thought about going up or down, or?
I did. And I substitute assistant principal at a elementary school. Oh man, they're like babies, and like I just wanted to grab them and be like,
needy.
So you don't want to you wouldn't go down?
Okay, so every time I do summer school for whatever reason, it's always in a lower level. 3rd, 4th grade is okay. A friend of mine did kindergarten or 1st grade or something. It must have been 1st grade. So the students who have left kindergarten are now going on to 1st grade. And they're like, I have a boo-boo, my mosquito bite, this, that. Like, I just can't. I can't.
But the high schoolers got to be pretty bad too, especially
but they're
nowadays.
more independent, right?
Way more independent, and it's
Mature.
different. Like, especially seniors. Oh my gosh, seniors are the absolute best. Anytime I can have a line of people and the kids are just like chilling, like, okay, when she's finished, she'll be all right. If it were elementary school, they'll be like falling out of the chairs on purpose. I gotta go to the bath. Like, you can't do anything. You have to be 100% on. They're like, I mean, you can have real conversations with high schoolers. You can't do that with elementary. It's always like,
or
is
middle
this
school.
Okay? No, middle school, I don't know. My experience with middle school, you have really fine lines. There are some who are still playing with Pokemon cards and Yu-Gi-Ohs and like to sit on the carpet for story time. And there's the other half who are dreaming about having babies already.
And you don't want to look at their social media because you'll be disgusted.
Look, I won't even lie to you. I think I was in I think I was in 7th grade, and I had one of my teachers, and she was about mid. She's probably in her 40s, and she had gave me some advice, and I was like,
what was the advice?
I was like, are you really my boo all the time? Like,
Oh,
she gave me some advice how to talk to another classmate. I was like, I feel like the teacher's really my boo the whole time. Maybe she don't know.
And I had one of those experiences, unfortunately, but this was still at a different school, but 8th grade, a boy and a girl, the boy had gotten the girl pregnant. Before this even happened, I'm like, you guys are getting a little too close. I would recommend you, take things slow. He really likes kids, da-da-da-da-da. At the end, she's pregnant, and
he really likes kids.
He takes care of his sister really well. But anyway, and so after this, she's like big and pregnant by the end of the year. And he's coming to me like, I can't do this. She's crazy. She's talking about she's going to kill the baby. Remember, I'm the teacher. And I'm just like, okay. And because he's talking to me, she's like, he must like her.
Oh,
what? I am the whole teacher. No.
Them baby hormones.
As an assistant principal, I've actually went to somebody's house. The girl was absent from school, but the parent didn't know. And then we realized her boyfriend was absent. And somehow I ended up in the car with our security officer, and we're going to the house and knocking on the door like, oh no, hopefully they're not already.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, this is what I'm saying.
Damn, that's crazy. All right, so real quick, so just give me just a high moment from just your teaching career where maybe you got a note or something, or a picture or a plan or something, just something in your career that just made you feel really high. And then also after that, I want you to give like a really like low shitty moment as well. Whoever wants to go first.
A high moment is one of my students who I taught in 8th grade. She still keeps in touch with me, and she's in college. Like, she should be finishing soon. So, I mean, I guess the experience was that good that like I'm kind of her mentor right now. So that's cool.
That's good.
Yes. So going into teaching, I will start by preface it this way. They say you'll have really high and really low lows. And I have had so many. There, like you, I have a student who still keeps in touch with me. He went into the military. He's about to get married. I have some other students who, like, they had me one year and they used to come to my classroom like, I just need to talk. Like, I just need to vent. And I have to, like, okay, let me call your mom and see what's going on. Like, I really, we did form that type of relationship where it is like a mentorship, I would say. And just even the kids who just, I just feel like I've had so many where they just really feel like they can talk to you. And I'm like, they must really care if they think, they trust me with this information. So it's hard, but it's good. It's good to see that, and it's good to form those relationships.
Okay. So what about the COVID? Fuck. To
We
be
didn't say the lows.
well, what I mean, shit. COVID is the low, but what I thought you was going to. Okay, so let's do the
Okay.
lows, then we'll get to the COVID. Sorry.
All right. So low for me, I feel like sometimes at the beginning of the year, always, I go through these slumps like, what the hell did I get myself into? Like, is this really what I still want to do? Like, this sucks. Like, they want too much. They're not giving enough support. Like, I'm just going through these motions. And then I'll have, like, a reminder, like, okay, it's going to get better. And it's a lot better now. But I definitely go
The
through
school year
slumps.
always sucks in the beginning.
I wouldn't say it's the
After
beginning.
that first day of school, you come in with your fresh
No.
little fit on. It's some bullshit after
Some
that.
people come in like, oh, this is going to be great. And it's great for like until September or no. Okay, September is too close.
I
Maybe
feel like
October.
it lasts maybe October, November.
March is hard, but
Why March?
Counting down until spring break. You haven't had a break in a while.
Spring break?
Yeah.
March is hard because there are no days off in March. And if we are not testing, it's like every day something.
It's
something.
same old,
It's
same
days
old.
off the months before?
Yeah,
Oh,
you
yeah,
you get
especially
like
this
a
year.
MLK day. You get a professional development day.
But don't y'all still be working on them holidays?
It's a day off though.
And I don't MLK. We take the day just like you do. What the hell?
I don't take no days. I work every holiday.
Okay, sure. Sure you're right.
Okay.
Um,
So what's your low moment?
low moments, I guess. I mean, when you get like a terrible parent, I've had a parent try to go to the board on me, and then I'm like questioning, did I do everything right, type of thing. And then I got to put it in perspective, like, okay, this is one out of I don't know, like 600, 700 people that I have to deal with. So it's not that bad.
Your
I
fucking
guess.
parents is terrible. Like I listen. I listen as a parent. You know what I'm saying? Like I try to go to let's just be crystal clear. I don't be doing the schoolwork and the homework and shit.
But
that's
did you
that's
see
the
the
wife.
stream that came up? The chain of text messages between the parents?
I see that. I be seeing the little texts come through on fucking remind,
Oh,
rewind,
yeah,
wherever that
yeah.
shit. I read that shit. But back when school was open, and I used to go. This one was in Suitland. I used to go to Aiden school to see what all this shit I used to take off, whatever I can go to. And some of these parents were just fucking terrible. Like, it'll be like an award ceremony for the kids who did what the fuck they were supposed to. And then it'll be like the hating ass parents who kids is fucking dumb because you let them be dumb. You know what I'm saying? I'm like, how can you be upset for something you allowed to happen? You know what I'm saying? Like, oh, well, my son supposed to got it. Well, what the fuck was you doing? You was out here for the gram instead of handling business. You know what I'm saying? Like, I will say this. I feel like the parents be, you know what I mean? Well, I'm living proof of that. I just feel like the parents is gonna make you what you are. Like, I'm the authoritative person here. So it's like when the wife has been yelling and yelling and yelling, then I'm like, all right, well, it's time to just whoop little ass. And some shit'll get done.
Mm-hmm.
Like I'm not coming in. I'm not talking 2-3 times the same shit. I'm saying it once and I'm whooping ass. And I'm gonna get what I want. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I definitely love supportive parents and hate the ones that are like, well, what were the other kids doing? I mean, what about the teacher?
Like no, we
questioning
talk
this
about your
stuff.
fucking
Right.
dusty ass child. What the fuck?
Oh my gosh. And then I love being the parent. I hate being on the other side because you have to watch everything you say.
Mhm.
Like, I could be saying some, like, I really think this is in the best interest of the child. Like, woman to woman, like, I'm trying to talk to you and tell you something, and that's what I had happen to me. Oh, I mean, I'm going to talk to the county executive because I can't believe you're telling me my child is not capable, da-da-da-da-da.
Telling your child's
Yeah.
dumb because you let them be dumb?
Yeah.
That's what I'll be like, well, I mean, whose responsibility? Is it my responsibility or is it yours?
Clearly.
I mean, are they with me 18 hours out of the day? I mean, I only got them for 8 hours. What the fuck you doing?
I got him for an hour.
I think since I've been on the other side, like being a teacher, being an administrator, I'm really a supportive parent. Like, the teacher's calling your name. What are you not doing? Like, let me get on this for you, Miss Anderson. You know.
I think just knowing now, and it's like, well, I'm out of school and I know now. And it's like, well, shit. You know what I mean? If anything, if Aiden want to go to the military, that's fine. But she want him to go to college, so he can go to college. I'm trying to go to whatever I ain't got to pay for. You know what I'm saying? He can go. But when I pull up to that school, I'm not about no fucking games. I'm sitting there. The teacher asks, I'm paying attention the same way. If I gotta sit here and go through this shit for 2 hours out of my day, then you gotta do it too. So it is what it is.
Yep. I definitely feel like just in general, you don't want to be embarrassed. Like, now you know what it feels like.
Oh no, not this day,
gosh.
not this day and age. Man, you'll slit your fucking wrist out here, boy. It ain't like back. Look, but we used to be a little tougher back in the day. They soft as fuck now. Oh my god, they were commenting on my Instagram. Slice my wrist. Let me eat. Let me drink with this bottle of fucking Excedrin or some shit. That shit terrible now, man. Kids soft. That's just where I'm at.
I agree. I agree.
So anyway, we got COVID-19. Shit ain't going nowhere no time soon. My theory is on this shit, off topic. I feel like this shit's not going to go away until whoever is asymptomatic or whoever gets sick, this shit's going to take who it's going to take, and then it's going to go away. Yes. That is the cold hard facts. I've been saying from day one, I've been saying it's airborne. I've been saying that it's not going to go, and unless they got a vaccine that they're just holding back, I've been saying that it's not going to go away until everybody gets fucking sick, and whoever heals from it,
Survival of the fittest.
Whoever don't, that's just how I feel about it. I mean, you talking about 100,000 cases.
I think that's definitely what they wanted to happen.
100,000 cases. Oh, population control, absolutely.
But did we need that?
In some parts of the world, probably.
I don't think it was a choice, though.
Yeah, hell no, it's not a choice. We don't get a choice on shit. Shit that's out of our hands. But COVID as teachers, I will say this. My daughter is in preschool, and they fucking suck. It's like, I be trying to get them the benefit of the doubt. But, I mean, it's just like, they don't realize, like, you got a camera on you. So they be sitting there, crunching their faces up and shit. And, like my daughter, she got this one boy in the class. And the boy be whining. I'm just going to say, he be whining. And they let him, he whines because he can't do countdown. 10, 9, 3, 2, 1. So it's like they let him do it every time because if he don't do it, he'll start whining. I'm like, hey.
Oh, like he wants to be the person who
he wants to do it every time. And
always have one of those.
If they let another child do it, he'll start whining. Oh, but I'll be like, hey, if y'all don't shut him the fuck up, I'm like, my daughter need to count too. So my thing is, it's like
we're all gonna be counting down together.
I'm like, everybody gotta count. You know what I'm saying? So my thing is, if she's doing virtual schooling, she's upstairs. We got 10 computers in the house. So she got her work computer. We got a whole touch screen joint that we done bought specifically for her, apparently. And she's sitting there. And they be like, well, Harley, you got to pay attention. I be wanting to be like, don't play my daughter like that. I'm sitting right here. Like, y'all playing games. But they be kind of getting irritated. And I'm like, look, I just don't think the preschool shit is a good look. I mean, I'm sorry. I just feel like at this point, it's not working. And then it's like they stretch the shit out from like 9:30 to 3. I'm like, why is it going to 3 p.m.? And they got like 13 breaks.
The crazy thing about it too is that there's so many half-day preschool programs that I'm sure there's not evidence to support why it has to be all day long. I think that's
That shit should be done. That shit should be done at noon. Like it is, and when they were going to class, you go in
was
and you done at noon.
PM pre-K or something like that.
That's what I'm saying. And then the other part of it is the skills that they need to be working on at their age. They really need to do a lot of writing.
They're
a lot of
hands-on.
writing. Yeah.
It has to be.
All they doing is they come back. They have their brain breaks. They got 12 brain breaks. They come in, and these are probably 5 minutes. And they come back. They play a little song. They dance. Get them to jump around and shit. Then they have them play a story. And then they have them, might read something and point out count. I'm like, they need to be doing something though, because my daughter after 12, she like this. She got her hand on her chin. She don't want to take no nap, but she don't want to do the work either.
Do they give them a nap break?
No.
It's from 11 to 1:30. It's whatever they want to do.
No,
they ain't taking no nap.
They do have a 2-hour break.
From 11:30 to 1:30 is whatever.
Yeah.
She ain't going to sleep at no 11:30. She don't get up to damn 9:28.
Yeah.
You want her to go back to sleep 2 hours later? That's not happening.
I mean, if she woke up earlier, she would take a nap at 11.
Well, that's bad parenting. You know what I'm saying? bad mom and dad. Sorry.
Well, let me say that that's a great break. I really feel like across the board, there should be at least an hour dedicated to lunch. I think it's so impractical, especially for the people who are on free and reduced lunch.
Get a
we
couple
actually
of minutes.
do it in my county have like from 10:45 to 1:10.
They know
break.
his break ain't that long, but
And
he be done at like 2 though.
To give kids time to go to school to pick up lunch if they need to.
So these kids, they only give out lunch Mondays and Wednesdays. So you have to physically go to the school on Mondays to get your lunch for the 2 days. And then you have to come home and cook it before you can even eat. It's frozen. The food is frozen.
Ooh, so, I didn't know they were still giving out lunch.
Yeah, and they have the money to give it out for the rest of the school year.
Yep.
Really?
And they give it to any kid. It doesn't even have to be free and reduced.
And the kid doesn't even have to go there. A parent could say, I got 3 kids.
And they'll give it to you. But this is my thing. You didn't make it practical. So now you're complaining that people aren't coming, but they don't have time to come. If they only legit get 30 minutes.
Nah.
That means the parent got to be on the way there at 15. The parent got to be out front of school 15, 20 minutes
and
before
so if it's kids who they
that you
feel
admit,
like
that means you
got
to leave your kid in the house?
Yeah, then that's not practical.
Ooh.
Okay, so they weren't thinking that whole thing through.
Definitely
and really
didn't think that
considering
through.
like who needs
So
this.
it's like what do they do? Do they shorten the school day or do they make the school day longer?
You could put all of those because they're supposed to get independent practice time.
That's on Wednesdays, right?
Mhm.
No. So this is what the schedule was supposed to be for high school anyway. It's supposed to be an hour of direct instruction and then 30 minutes of asynchronous independent study time. So if I give you an assignment to do, which is technically homework, you can get it done during that 30 minutes.
Yeah.
If they sandwich all of those 30 minutes together, then you have a better break. But there are some people who feel like those independent practice times are really still a part of class, which they should not be.
Wait, do people still teach during that time?
That's what the expectation. And so I said, even in the plan, it says that this is supposed to be time. Teachers can use it for extra planning. In addition, they said, no, well, you can grade papers, but you still need to be on camera to answer questions that students may have while they're working.
So ours is it's a drop-in, like if you need, it's a drop-in support time if you need it.
That would have been more practical if you could get it all. For 30 minutes, you're really only reaching the kids who are there.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, so that I feel like my county really thought things out and tried to make it the best. But of course, people still complain. I mean, you can't please them.
You ain't gonna be satisfy everybody.
I think a big thing too is the fact that, I hate to say it, but every principal has control over what happens in their school. So you can say, here's what it's supposed to be, but you can interpret it different ways. So you can say, well, I believe this to be this, and this is how it's going to happen at our school. For Wednesdays, for the first couple of weeks, it was like, no, you need to see all your classes that day.
Wednesday, that's the asynchronous day?
Yes, on Wednesday. That's what we were told.
So are you doing that?
It's Wednesday
that,
for Aiden.
that has changed. That has changed. But I'm telling you, but that's what it was supposed. That's what she said it was supposed to be, and I was like, that's definitely not what it says.
Yeah.
How can you do small groups if you're seeing all
Everybody.
of your class? And then it was a mess. But anyway, I digress. But
Man, just keep up the good fight, man. You know what I mean? I don't think nobody saw this virus shit coming, man, and we just adapting as we go. But
I wish somebody did see it coming.
Some people did.
Yeah,
but I was the naive person saying, we're really only going for 2 weeks because they're going to clean the school. They're going to clean.
Bro, I mean, I'm just, my thing is, it's just like, well, how much longer can we go by? Can we be home and efficiently be teaching the kids? Like, I don't think you can go the whole school year.
I think
preschool is rough.
Preschool, no.
I'm talking about 6th grade. I mean, 8th grade to high school.
I mean,
high school to graduation to college.
And, I mean, college, high school, there are online programs. I mean, I feel like those can be okay.
I think it just depends on the child at the end of the day.
Yeah.
Because there are some children who did horribly in school. They had too much leeway. They were like walking the halls every day, and now I see them in class every day, and I'm like, whoa, I remember.
Man, look, I think the counties need to go ahead and issue out some Helly Hansons and pack these parking lots with these fucking kids, get their asses back to school. I can't do it, man. Because my thing is, listen, we just talking about this household who were lucky to be able to work from home. We're not talking about the households where both parents or one parent are gone at work, and they're expecting an as young as an elementary schooler to do what the fuck they supposed to do while they're home.
And maybe like a older sibling is watching them, but
or you got grandma or auntie or
I mean, that's
from
fortunate
across
if
the
they
hall.
got, like,
I'm
grandma,
talking about the people
auntie.
who don't have nobody.
There
like,
are kids.
But let's talk about the fact that we would have definitely been in school if in March we did a 4-week complete shutdown. If they said, no, we're not open. No, you can't go to the grocery store every other day.
Right.
Listen.
But
I
this
listen.
is
I
coming from
listen.
somebody who was going to the grocery store.
Exactly. Yeah, this coming from somebody who had that shit.
But what I'm saying,
See, look, I was the one like, let me buy all the groceries so I don't have to go out for these 2
and I
weeks.
tried because I went in there the first time, and then I said, oh my gosh, we're gonna be 4 weeks now. Let me go back. And then when I went back, everything was already gone.
Hell nah. Listen. No.
The day that they were like, school is gonna be closed
That's
tomorrow.
No,
went to
I
Costco.
disagree. I had to buy toilet paper from some nigga on Facebook Marketplace. Are you serious? I didn't want to shut shit down. That shit was crazy. Like,
no. I'm saying if it would have just happened one time, like literally close the.
You talking about like Europe?
Like
real
Like Europe, but
for
the
real.
Europe already back shut down
like
the same
you
way.
out of your house, you getting arrested because you're not following the rules. Then we would have.
That's what they doing now.
But I think this is the thing. So okay, do that one time, and then now say we're gonna go back to a little more normalcy, but we still can't have people from other countries coming.
Right.
You gotta stay where you live.
Right.
At this point, stay where you live.
I do think they should have stopped the international travel. I do agree with that. I mean, I do feel like we're moving too free. I was in the club like last week.
I know you were.
Oh my goodness.
I mean, it was very
For
awkward.
Ink's
You know what I'm
birthday.
saying? Shout out to
be
Lamar,
honest.
happy birthday, my nigga. But I mean, it was very awkward. You know what I'm saying? But like, we was in the club, and I'm pretty sure the COVID was in there
Like
joint.
you should feel
shaking
ashamed
the
of
leg.
yourself in those moments.
But I mean, so what's the plans for the future? I mean, what's the plan? I mean, what's the ultimate goal as far as you guys' careers?
I mean, I hope we don't go hybrid because that sounds like a nightmare.
no, I'm not talking about that. I'm not even talking. I'm talking about like.
Our life.
I'm
after
talking about you.
COVID.
I'm talking about you guys' careers. Like, what's the ultimate goal? I mean, we talking like superintendents. We talking. I mean, how does it go? Is superintendent the highest?
I would just like to work in college or something. Even though I heard that's not all it's cracked up.
Is
to
it
be.
more money?
Especially because it's kind of not, but it kind of is. So the issue with college, academia in general, especially because I have a science background, I would be expected to do some research to bring in research grants, but that would also.
But does it have to be in science? Because you could be on a college level, like being a teacher advisor or, in one of those teacher prep programs. You don't have to be a science teacher unless you want to.
Right. And I mean, I'm still figuring it out. I'm saying this to say I'm still figuring it out.
I think I'm still figuring it out. probably the next step will be a principal. But then after that, I think I want to see like what interests me and go down that direction. But I'm still figuring it out.
Okay. Well, listen, just keep it up, man. I mean, it's, young black women, teaching out here, man, it's hard. In my day, all the teachers was old. You know what I'm saying? Like, we didn't really see any young teachers, so it's like we definitely want to keep that shit growing. You know what I mean? But they're gonna have to pay some more money though. I just want somebody to explain to me why the pay isn't more. You know what I'm saying? It's like why do you not feel as though teachers don't need to get paid like the big, maybe not the big bucks, but more money?
Probably not value.
I think it's definitely
It's fucking
a lack
school.
of value.
Like, how is it
But
not a value?
But we have to be clear on what it takes to live on your own. Like, what's a livable wage? And I think that's what they're not really putting into.
So they're not giving y'all like a cost of living.
I mean, and past the cost of living, they have to value the education system. I mean, every time budget cuts have to happen, they cutting from schools.
Absolutely. Especially now. They're like, oh, we have a shortage. We don't know yet how that's going to come out. But even on paper, so it looks like, let's say the starting pay is $50,000, which would be okay. You won't do bad. But then when you have 7% of your check going to pension, you have this much money going to your benefits, you have this, you're bringing home like probably what you could get somewhere else doing nothing. Like, I'm not going to devalue anyone else's job, but
that shit is crazy.
The pay is nothing.
I think it's crazy. I mean, simple as that. Like, I know people like I be fucking bullshitting all day. I'm just keep it 100. I be bullshitting. I got a computer up. I got the PlayStation going. Listen. I grilled dinner while I was on the clock. Like, we bullshitting, man. And they're like, oh, you want to work an extra 8 hours? Like, an extra 8, it's like $300 something after the time. I'm like, are you kidding me? Y'all just like paying me to just fucking just stay awake. Like, I think it's crazy, man. So I would say it again, man. Thank y'all for your service, man. And anybody out there who is aspiring to be a teacher, man, do that fucking shit, because we gotta keep it going. You know what I mean? These kids out here dumb as hell. You know what I mean? Somebody gotta put them in the headlock and teach them the good shit, man. But I mean, we pretty much done. I got a good hour out of y'all. I mean, anything y'all want to add? It's been an hour.
Wow.
It's been an hour and 3 cups of yak.
Okay.
They got anything y'all want to add?
I had something, but I lost it. It's okay. Yeah, try to do that. And then honestly, what we really, really, really need are some people to step into positions of policy, some positions in the district where we get into curriculum development, what's important for the state, because I think that's where the disconnect is. We're just like passing kids along for the sake of it looking good on paper, and it's considered okay. Like, that's the thing to do. But
and bring people to the table to have those conversations who actually know what's needed. So bring teachers to the table.
Absolutely.
Bring teachers to the table when we're talking about curriculum and what goes in it.
And get y'all fucking kids together, all right?
Don't be good to your kids' teachers.
Be good to your kids, man. Treat the teachers with some respect, all that good shit.
Send out some teacher appreciation gifts.
You know what I'm saying? Bring them in a little card or something. Bring them some Reese cups. You know what I mean? Like, hook it up.
Yes, Amazon delivers.
Amazon up. You know what I mean? Overnight delivery, all that.
I do miss that as a teacher, but I'm okay with it.
Y'all be back soon, man. Listen, I'm with y'all. All right? I'm with the teachers. I'm for the teachers. Okay, so we're gonna wrap it up. You know what I mean? Episode 22. I'll come up with a name later. Miss Kim Harris, Mrs. Kim Harris, Mrs. Denise Young. Thank y'all for coming in here with me to talk some shit. You know what I mean? To enlighten some folks out here, on how it is, how it was, what it is, what the future is. Just keep the good fight, man. You know what I'm saying? Like, thank y'all for coming in. You guys were great.
Oh, thank you for having us.
All right.
Captain out.
Captain out.